again, it's me, Meredith, and we're going to continue with our ankle stretches, part 2 for the ankles. For this session, though, we will need at least one block. If you have 2, feel free to grab them both. I just like to have them for all of my classes in case I need them, because I make stuff up as I go. And then also a strap, if you have it. So again, if you don't have blocks, you can use a staircase, you can use some books, you can use a sturdy box, really just anything that's more elevated than the floor. And to replace a strap, you can use a belt, towel, long, thick piece of string or rope. Anyway, we're gonna get started with some block work. So we're gonna go ahead and set our block on the floor. We're just gonna straddle it to start. Bringing our feet to touch that inside. So if your feet don't feel comfortable that close together, you can take it a little bit wider. But this is generally the width that is best for most people. And so what we're gonna do to start, once we get it kind of snug up in there, is we're just going to press our ankles inwards. So you're gonna feel some tension along that inner line, both in the lower leg and in the upper. And we're gonna also pull the pelvic floor up and in. So think lifting, holding your pee, holding your poo, pulling that tummy in ever so slightly. We're just creating some static tension to warm these lines of fascia before we get into some movement. So we're gonna hold for another breath or 2 before we gently release, and we'll step it out and walk it out a little bit, or shake it out a little bit. And then we're gonna transfer into some moving steps. We're gonna take our right foot on top of the block to start. Knees going out forward, left foot is still planted. Nice neutral pelvis, so tucking that tail to the floor, rolling the shoulders back and down. And take one more breath, just prepping here, rooting down through that right foot. On our next inhale, we're gonna lift, keeping left toe on the floor. Exhale, we're gonna come back down, and so we're gonna do about, we're gonna do 5 of each of these movements. So you wanna glide nice and slowly. If you feel a little staircasey on the way up and down, that's just a sign that maybe you should do this movement a little more often. On that 5th lift, we're gonna just pause and root down through that right foot. Maybe lift those toes and spread them. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna shift our weight into the left leg as much that is comfortable for your body. You don't wanna overdo it. We're just gonna get a nice stretch in that calf and in the bottom of the foot. And we'll take just a couple of deep breaths here before switching back the weight into that right foot. So once we're into that right foot, we're gonna lift the toe on the inhale. Exhale, tap it down. And again, we're doing this 5 times with the movement of our breath. Beautiful. After 5, we're going to lift the toe, tuck the toe, press down, feeling that nice stretch on the top of the foot. If it feels comfortable, you can gently roll back and forth a couple of times. Only if that feels good to your body. If it doesn't, don't do it. If anything hurts, don't do it. We're going to take one more breath, and we're going to flip. And we're going to slowly lower ourselves down. And we're going to switch to the other side. So left foot comes to the block, right foot to the mat. Finding that neutral pelvis, long spine. Just rooting down, rising up a few moments before we get into movement. So on our next inhale, we're going to lift up. Rooting through that left foot, right toe on the floor. Exhale down. Again, 5 times. With the breath. hold here, rooting down through that left leg. We're gonna spread the right toes and kind of create that nice face. And then when you're ready, shifting the weight as much into the right leg that is comfortable. Getting that nice stretch in the calf, and the foot and the ankle. Take one more breath and we'll switch back to the left leg. Root down, and then we're going to lift the toes and tap the toes. Inhaling up and exhaling down. 5 times with the breath. After that 5th round, we're going to lift the toes, curl them under. Get that nice stretch on the front of the calf, or front of the shin and ankle. Finding that nice deep breath, taking our oxygen to wherever is holding tension. Again, option to gently rock a little bit on the tops of those toes. So then take another breath, lift, plant, lower ourselves down. And we're just gonna shake it out, shake it out. Beautiful. So our next pose is going to be just taking our toes up onto our elevated platform, feel on the mat. And so if a normal yoga block is too much, this is where a book, a flatter, smaller book might come in handy. We're keeping our shoulders over our hips, over the back foot. And once we get stable here, we're just going to slowly exhale. Hinging forward, inhale, we come back. And so we don't want to overdo it, keeping a tiny, tiny bend in that front leg, not locking the knee. We also don't want to hinge at our waist. We're going to keep that waist neutral. On our 5th inhale forward, we can pause here for a few cycles of breath. If it's available, now is when you can hinge at the waist, letting your hands glide down your leg for support. You're going to feel it more in the back of the thigh into that hamstring. Just allow yourself to breathe here for a few moments. And if you're not hinging and enjoying the stretch, standing, that's awesome. Honor your body. If you are hinged, we'll go ahead and inhale ourselves all the way back up. Exhale, release the foot. Shake it out and switch sides. And so again, getting those toes planted, heels planted, back foot is nice and neutral, finding that long spine. Taking a breath, and as we inhale, we move forward. Exhale, we come back. Beautiful. On that 5th inhale forward, we're going to pause. Enjoying that stretch. Again, option to stay, or if it's available, exhale, hinging over that front leg. Keeping that soft bend in the left knee. Just allowing yourself to gently glide down to the depth that feels best for your body. Keeping your spine neutral and long. And once you find that stretch, taking a nice deep breath into it, maybe asking for a little bit more length in the tissue. Let's give ourselves another breath here. And we're going to inhale all the way back up if we took that hinge, and exhale, release. Walk it out. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and shift into our left leg. We're just going to Lift the right and take some circles. Do about 5 to 10 in one direction, and then 5 to 10 in the other. I say that because I wasn't counting. No big deal. And then we'll switch sides. Another 5 to 10 on the other leg. And of course, switching sides, making sure we get some circles in both directions. Beautiful. Alright, so we're going to shift back to that left leg. We're going to lift the right. I'm just going to spread and scrunch the toes a few times. Lifting that toe up, having the heel planted on the ground for stability. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and scrunch those toes and hold it. Spread those toes and hold it. We're going to exhale down. We're going to glide the foot back. And we're going to do that same toe down thing, but without being elevated. One more breath and we'll switch sides. So, lifting those toes, we're spreading and scrunching, spreading and scrunching. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and scrunch and hold. Spread and hold. Beautiful. We'll go ahead and set the toes down, glide it back, tuck the toes. And pause here for just a breath or two. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and come back out. And so from here, we're just going to go ahead and find a seat. Grab our strap or whatever strap-like object you have. We're just going to sit in a wide-legged stance and take the strap around the right foot to start. Drawing shoulders back, elbows back, just having that strap for some support. We're going to start by pointing and flexing a few times, maybe inverting and everting, maybe even taking a couple of circles just to notice any tension that might still be there. Maybe noticing if this feels different compared to standing and doing these movements. Instead of having to support the whole body weight, it might be a little easier. Beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and come back to our neutral foot. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to pull, so we're squeezing the shoulder blades back, chest is floating forward, we're just lifting that heel off of the mat. If this does not feel good to your body, skip it, don't do it. Or if it puts too much tension on your knees, you can have a rolled up blanket underneath the knee to get the stretch without hyperextending your knee. We'll go ahead and release, and we'll switch sides. Again, setting up nice long spine, shoulders actively engaged, chest is pressing forward, or just pointing and flexing, inverting, everting, maybe rolling that ankle. Getting the last little bit of tension. To our neutral ankle. We're going to pull back ever so slightly, engaging those shoulders. Our heel's going to lift. And we're just going to hold and sustain that stretch. So again, if this is not pleasant on the knee, either don't do it or find support for that knee. So take another breath or two. And gently release both the foot and the strap. We're just going to set it off to the side, bring those feet together. Just going to take a nice big breath in, and as we exhale, we're going to hinge forward, reach for those toes, give ourselves any movement in those ankles that we would like to take. So we finalize this little yogi short. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I hope you enjoyed ankle stretches part 2. We'll see you on the next slide for some knees. Yeah.